Hello.
Hi.
Welcome
Welcome.
to our vet care stream.
/ behavior stream.
Hello, YouTube. We're going to kind of give you guys a deep dive into what we do here at Alveus for our vet care, how we go about thinking about things, doing things, and how transparent we are when it comes to vet care, and how chat and the other people can kind of help keep an eye on our animals and report potential issues, which has already happened in the past and has saved some terrible things before, and also has helped, like, I guess we had bad luck with Siren and Timber, but we got to them as fast as we could and were able to do so much more than a usual sanctuary or animal place or zoo probably could, because they don't have thousands of eyes on the animals. So my name is Connor. I'm the Director of Operations.
My name's Kayla. I'm the Director of Animal Care.
And Kayla did this presentation. She's awesome for that. And our qualifications, mine are, I was a vet tech for about 5 years out in Georgia. I was a certified rehabilitator in Georgia. Your mic shouldn't be off.
Maybe I was just talking very quietly.
Probably need to talk loud. I don't know. Say something again.
I'm Kayla, and I'm the Director of Animal Care.
Can you guys hear her there?
Good now.
Saved? Okay.
I was probably just talking really quietly.
I'm a certified rehabilitator in the state of Georgia. Worked at a few rehab places in my career, and I've always just been doing a lot of vet stuff. I was going to go to vet school. I didn't get in, and I realized I could have way more fun doing this kind of stuff. So,
I've been working in animal care since 2013, so almost 15 years now. And my part of this presentation has more to do with behaviors and looking at what behaviors may be abnormal for animals, and maybe hopefully helping you guys also see some of those things. And yeah, that's really my experience. I have done a little bit of rehabilitation here or there, and we're also very fortunate to work with a veterinarian who's very, very present, very available, and is very willing to share her knowledge with us so that we can be better prepared for things here. So yeah, experience, people willing to share their knowledge, all good things.
Kayla's underselling herself. She did a ton of work with birds of prey at the American Eagle Foundation,
Which is very useful here.
Okay.
With all the birds we have.
You volunteered at the vet clinic.
That I've been waiting for years.
For a little bit. You volunteered at the vet clinic for a little bit. You almost passed out in the surgery.
I got hot. I didn't almost pass out because of the content.
And you did a lot of work at Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center. Worked with the vets there.
A little bit. Not a lot, though.
Well,
I've never been as interested in the rehabilitation side as I have in the behavior and training side.
Right.
So that's why Connor's here. So.
And for YouTube, we are married, so if there's no hostility here, it's just being a married couple, I guess. But yeah, I think guys are married. It's okay. Divorce-a-thon is real. we haven't
Did
eaten
you
lunch.
call it the divorce-a-thon?
No, they have.
Oh, okay.
We haven't eaten, so...
I've eaten.
Oh.
I'm a responsible adult.
Okay, well, I'm just going off a Red Bull, so it'll be a good time. All right. Well, that's kind of our kind of qualification to talk about this. But yeah, our veterinarian, we now have, as of today, we have 2 veterinarians.
Yeah?
One for exotics and small animals.
Did you tell them that Winnie got a vaccine today?
I didn't get to that yet.
Okay.
Leaked. And then we just got another veterinarian for large animals for our cow and the 2 donkeys. So we are fully covered now, and we're super excited. So, autism cow. Okay. Hit us, Kayla.
With what?
Next slide.
Oh, I thought you said we weren't gonna. I thought we were gonna talk about Winnie first.
I mean, you want to talk about Winnie first? We can.
I mean, we talked a little bit about it before we started.
We'll give them the full. We'll come back. We'll do that when we're talking about the ambassadors.
All right, chat. Intro to vet care with Kayla and Connor. Look at that handsome guy. All right. All right. The first thing that we wanted to talk a little bit about is the protocol for animal intake, which I was gonna use Kasi as an example for this one, obviously, because he's our most recent intake, just to let you guys know a little bit about what we go through before we bring in an animal, before we decide to take in an animal. So the first thing we do is we acquire information about the animal. So Kasi happened really fast. You guys know that. We had about a week to prepare for Kasi, and it was pretty much like, hey, there's a serval, he needs a home. If not you guys, we can't guarantee his future. That was pretty much it.
Yeah.
So obviously, our hope is that we can save as many animals as possible. So after we kind of get that initial information, what we did learn about Kasi was that we think he's probably between 1 year and 2 years old, that he was purchased at a flea market on the border, and that he was fed primarily chicken legs for the time prior to his arrival.
And this was prior to Ben Urban Ranch, so they're familiar that it comes from Ben Urban Ranch.
Mm-hmm.
Ben did a great job taking
Shout
care
out.
of them, put them in a big enclosure, but it was just kind of like the intermediary between probably not the best setup, and then
well, it's not what Ben does.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was great.
We did also receive a photo of Kasi in a harness, so we know that he was handled to some degree, and didn't get really any information, I think, about his disposition until he got to Ben, where Ben was like, yeah, he's not like terrified, but he's not like friendly.
Right.
Which is what we hear, I think, about a lot of the animals that we get in. So after we kind of get that initial information about the animal, we do an assessment of our current resources and we discuss with staff. This is a really important one because obviously we get asked about more animals than we can feasibly take in for a lot of reasons. And it's not just a money thing, although that certainly is something that we take into consideration, but it's our time and like the way that we can spread ourselves so that we're still providing the care that we want to provide for the animals that we've already committed to. So that's really important for us to discuss with our staff and make sure that everyone feels really on board and comfortable with bringing in another mouth to feed, another animal to train, another individual that's going to get old here and things like that. And then after the staff has kind of agreed, like, yes, we're all on board, we have a discussion with our veterinarian, because exotic animal vets are sometimes difficult to find.
Yep.
So we want to make sure that the veterinarian that we have is comfortable taking care of this animal. And if not, we need to make sure that we have somebody that is comfortable taking care of that animal. So that's a really big conversation to have. And then with our veterinarian, where Kasi was concerned, her biggest concerns were metabolic bone disease, which is fairly common. We're going to talk a little bit about it later in this presentation with different ambassadors that you guys know very well. So with cats, the cats that she's worked with prior, a lot of them, unfortunately, diet is an issue. Feeding an exotic animal is difficult. Getting their diet correct. And making sure, especially in their early developmental years, because those years are really the foundation for them as they get a little bit older. So with any animals that we bring in that we're not really sure about their diet, it's always something kind of in the back of our minds, like what kind of training are we going to have to do? What kind of enclosure can they have? How are we going to have to adjust as they get older? Permits. Oh yeah, that's a whole other thing. And that's part of the planning, where the planning begins. We're talking about enclosures, we're talking about how we're designing it, we're talking about the amount of time, we're talking about where they're going to spend the time between when we commit and when they're going to go into their enclosure. And obviously permitting is a huge part of that as well. So a little bit, did I miss anything?
Do we go into permit a little bit
If you
later?
want to, you can.
I can just say that we look at, so for birds, it's U.S. Fish and Wildlife. For these guys, USDA, and then Texas Parks and Wildlife regulations, which are a joke. And
wow, immortalized.
Yeah,
on
I mean,
YouTube.
it's a half a page for requirements for all the exotic animals. For
Texas
like
is a pretty crazy place.
Would love them to be a lot more
to,
robust.
Yeah.
So if you ever
crazy.
hear anybody saying, "Oh, well, we're following the minimum guidelines for Texas or whatever," there's like. It's terrible.
Just know the bar is on the ground.
Yeah, very, very low. Kasi's temporary enclosure, which is a 14 by 16, I can't remember.
16 by about 20.
16 by 20 is much bigger.
It's much larger than the required space per the state of Texas.
Yes.
If somebody were to have a serval, which is legal in some parts of Texas.
So we'll look at, for Kasi, it's USDA. And then we look at AZA guidelines and Global Federation of Animal Sanctuary guidelines, because GFAS actually has like really good like enclosure guidelines that are like, here are kind of your minimums, and then we always try to exceed those minimums quite a bit and push our own. We're now trying to push our own standards as well to other facilities on how we are able to go about things in a cost-effective and enriching way. Not another Kevin. Thank you so much for that tier 1.
What was the question about Kasi? The response is he'll probably still be very nervous, but was certainly way less than when he was transported from Ben's place. Are you asking about him moving from? What was the question? Sorry.
I can move.
Oh yeah.
I got you,
We
Kayla.
can look at the question.
Do you have to update your insurance policy? Thankfully, no. Huh? Oh, find the mouse?
Yeah. It's on one of the monitors. It's on the one behind you. Go all the way the other way.
Do I go to the right or the left?
Sorry. I made this hard.
Found it. There we go.
That was counterintuitive.
This one?
No, a little higher. What was the question? That was the answer.
Tighter. We got this. Okay, I should just be able to click on. There we go.
When he needs to get transported to his new enclosure.
How would he react when he needs to get transported to his new enclosure, aka just transportation?
One of the things that is also part of the planning process that I should have gone over before we got to this point. But when we start planning, one of the other things that animal care staff does pretty immediately is thinking about what behaviors are going to be the most important for that animal when they come in. And a lot of times the easiest behaviors, especially for an animal we don't know, are ones that are not super intrusive. So things like a target. Some animals are so kind of agitated when they come in that we can do very little and any interaction is going to set them off. Kasi was not really like that. You guys saw him when he arrived. He was definitely wary of us and he gave us a few hisses, but he wasn't like panicking, which is something that if you ask anyone in this field, if they've seen it, they're going to tell you, yes, we've seen very, very fearful animals.
Yep.
And so important things for the planning phase is thinking about those behaviors that are going to become the most important. So because we knew that Kasi was going into a temporary enclosure, one of the things that we knew we wanted was that when he moves, we want it to be voluntary. We want him to be comfortable in his kennel. We want him to be comfortable moving in his kennel. Not only that, for the moving purposes, but he has to actually go to our veterinarian first for radiographs. So again, the kennel was really a priority from the beginning. What does it take to get to the kennel? So we went right into relationship building again with kind of those easy things where like, is he going to take food from us? Can we target train him? Can we target train him into the kennel? Can we get him on the scale? That's a really big one so that like when he comes in, we kind of get an initial idea of what he weighs and making sure we're feeding him enough to either maintain his weight if he's at a good weight, which we found that he is at a pretty okay weight. He weighs about 33 pounds, 34 pounds right now, which is pretty normal.
It's good body condition. Yeah.
He's good body condition, but he's going to need to move a little bit more when we move him so that he doesn't put on any weight.
Yeah, and build up the muscle.
Yeah.
Do you like taking questions like during your presentation, or do you want to save
This one I
end?
did because we're talking about specifically Kasi.
Moving forward, do we want to hold the questions in or answer? I don't care either way.
You sound like you're way more dedicated to questions at the end.
I don't care.
Oh, I don't care either.
All right, we'll just answer them as you see them. It's cool. Fran, thank you so much for the tier 1.
So yeah, he's doing great with his kennel. We're very optimistic that he'll be comfortable going into his kennel. Moving will still be scary because he'll be moving to a completely new place. It's not going to smell like him. We'll probably take bits and pieces from the enclosure that he's in after he's out and move them into that big new space. He'll probably be very wary, kind of all over again. Once we get to that new space, it's going to be very, very big space. So we'll give him some time to adjust. We expect his behavior will change. But we also expect him probably, I can safely say, to come around fairly quickly.
Like give him a day.
I'm not really worried about Kasi. We're all very excited for him to move into a permanent big space. He has no idea what's coming.
You want a seat, by the way?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I like to pace a little.
Okay.
Is it making you anxious?
No.
Okay.
I just wanted to offer it to be nice.
Thank you. I appreciate that. He's going to have so much area to patrol. Yeah, he is. And he's going to have, like, animals to look at.
Yeah.
He's going to have foxes to see across the way.
Birds to chase on the outside.
Birds to chase on the outside. So, next slide. Any more planning? Any more permit chat?
We'll go over the accreditations later.
Okay. This is another one that's great to talk about with permitting. So, again, one of the things that I wanted to talk about was kind of some of our special cases and some of what's really important when we bring them in and why it is important. These are probably never before seen photos of the marmosets. The next slide is Appa. This is Momo's first toy. This is the first enrichment that I ever gave Momo. If you look really closely, he still has his teeth. And you can see behind him, you can see this is when they were in the tiny house. This is when they were actively in rehab. And you guys remember, if you were here, this was a time that we did not show them because we did not want to present them in any way as pets. So this is actually from Momo's first veterinary appointment before he came to us.
Read it off.
Physical exam, patient attitude and demeanor. Patient demeanor is bright. Summary of physical findings. Patient presenting with severe dental disease. The patient was on an insufficient diet and had poor husbandry for at least 1 year before today's exam. Upon exam, the patient had multiple teeth that were loose and 2 that were able to be removed with only light pressure. The patient's cage mate was also presenting with muscle atrophy and possible metabolic bone disease. So,
Violating Momo's HIPAA information.
Yep. He has no idea. He's fine. So this just, again, is why it's so important when we talk about diet. This is what we mean. Momo was only 4 years old. Granted,
he probably had 4 years of bad care.
4 years of not great care. Momo only has about 6 teeth left. And we do anticipate probably over the course of his time that most of them will come out or need to be removed. It's something that we watch very closely.
He does look skinny here, for sure. He definitely was. I mean, they were getting mealworms mostly.
Mealworms and fruit is what made up the most of their diet. And again, when you see about these guys now, these guys have a. Sorry, I'm trying not to sneeze.
You can sneeze. Let it out. They're in the wild. They eat a lot of saps from trees, as well as produce, not produce, but
Yeah, they eat gum from trees. That's one of the
yeah.
reasons that Dr. Julia suggests the yogurt is that when they eat the gum from the trees in the heat, it ferments.
Yeah.
So it helps their guts. And they don't really get that in human care as much. So supplementing them with a little bit of yogurt is kind of the thought process behind that.
And so Momo can live to be 12 if we're lucky, right?
12 to, if we were really lucky,
Yeah.
maybe later teens.
Later teens, yeah. It's gonna be tough. He did not have a good start to life, so it does probably lower his chances of a longer life. But
Momo is 8 years old, so he is by no definition a young marmoset.
wait, he's how old?
He's 8.
We got him when he was 4.
Yeah, we got him in 2022.
They've been here that long?
Mm-hmm. They arrived in
Shit.
December, so at about the same time as Chips and Nilla. They came here the week before Christmas. He was born in 2018. So we don't have
That
an exact
sucks.
birth date for Momo. We just know that he's 8 years old. So again, if we're very lucky, Momo's got a lot of time left. But one of the things that we've also noticed even now about Momo is that he's very, very intentional about the way he moves in his enclosure. It's one of the things that we communicate with Dr. Julie with. We talk to her about it and the changes that we're going to have to make for him over the course of his time here. But again, this is just one of those things that show you how important diet is. When you think about Appa, I don't know if you'll think Momo was lucky or not, but Appa, this is one of the first pictures we took of Appa. You can see his foot is tucked up here.
Do you know who that is?
I do know.
Okay.
His legs were kind of stuck this way. So this is his physical exam, patient attitude, demeanor. It was bright. Summary of findings, patient presenting with a severe month history of lameness in the rear legs. On today's exam, the patient appeared to have severe muscle atrophy and was significantly underweight. The patient seems to have normal neurological function of all 4 limbs and is responsive to touch, has been on an insufficient diet for over 1 year.
But like you would touch him and he would like scream, like in pain. Like he was, I remember doing that. Like we were trying to like do a physical exam on him, and he just wanted to bite you because like he was so painful.
So yeah, Appa had no use of his back legs, and that's one of the reasons again that we had them confined in a fairly small space in the beginning. We didn't know until after we started doing his supplements and changing their diet that he was going to have normal function of his lower half.
Right.
And that's, again, we've talked to Dr. Julie about that before, and sometimes the way he sits indicates that there might be some discomfort there. So it's really incredible that Appa has come as far as he has. Did he need sedation for the exam? I don't believe. Oh, did they? Have they always?
No, I guess not for the initial, but we have kind of gone that way to just like do a general sedation if we're doing blood work. Because there's no way, blood or x-rays.
I don't know. After yesterday talking to Dr. Julie, we have all kinds of plans.
That's cool.
It is cool.
It's hard to hit.
It is. They're very small, chat. Yeah. We really want to do as much voluntarily as possible, but the marmosets are difficult because of the size that they are. Yeah. And that
you
just
have to
comes
go for a jugular
with its own set of challenges. Leg vein.
They've been doing leg for the most part.
I mean, leg veins, I think, are the biggest.
I think they've been trying, the vets here go, like, they have to state them for the...
Dr. Julie talked about legs.
Yeah, I just got them.
Yeah.
As a small vein and stuff.
They're all small in a marmoset. When Appa arrived, he weighed about 260 grams. You want to guess what Appa weighs now?
400.
430 grams.
Nice. And, guys, how we built the original marmoset enclosure, granted, we built it kind of sparse and to have a lot of cushion if they were to fall, because we didn't know how well they would use the enclosure. And since they've had, I would say like a 90%, if not more, mobile recovery. Dr. Julie would be able to say better compared to a normal marmoset, but they're pretty normal now with their mobility, except for Momo's getting older. But, we're able to build it a lot better.
Appa is speed.
Yeah, he's fast.
He's fast. But again, this is just to really reinforce how difficult it is to feed exotic animals a proper diet and really what can happen when you don't, and why it's important to not acquire exotic pets. Oh, my bad. No, okay. This is the first picture we got of Kayla. Look at that boy.
That's a crazy leak.
What?
That picture. No, it's fine.
It's not really a leak.
I know. That's fine.
Something we haven't already said before. This is the first picture we got of Kayla. One of the things that Shruti said when she got back was that she did not see a single solid poop in this poor boy's enclosure.
This guy had a big round tub where the owner would just dump like a whole bag of dog food in it for just once a month. That was it. And water, there's no running water. Like it was just water was frozen over for the most part. He just was not taken care of. So it was like maybe looked at him once a week type of thing.
Yeah. And he was also kept by himself at this time. So he had been housed with other excuse me. He had been housed with other wolf dogs at some point, but hadn't for at least 2 years by the time that we were able to actually bring him in with the help of some very, very good humans who had taken it upon themselves to start feeding him and caring for him. Mm-hmm. So this is kind of what his poops looked like when they arrived. This was after he was neutered and we were trying to fix it. And it just got worse. He was on like a very sensitive, digestive, like supposed to be easier to digest diet. GD, yeah, gastrointestinal something. Supposed to be easier to digest. For Kayla though, allergic to many things. We know now that he's sensitive to chicken and to beef, at the very least, to the point where like we gave him a Next Guard once that had beef flavoring and it like reset him So we have to be really careful now with this. But if he were to eat things that he shouldn't,
Like a frog or a bird that they catch in their enclosure.
okay, well, those things we can't control. But if we were to intentionally
Right.
keep feeding him things that he should not be eating, we would most certainly be contributing to basically the dog version of irritable bowel.
So yeah, he has IBS,
Yeah.
which is the equivalent of IBD, which it just body can't absorb nutrients well, and it just squirts out the other end is the technical term. So I don't have, I guess, a lot to add on that from a veterinary perspective, other than we start with, there's different proteins for this that we try, and he could develop an allergic reaction to lamb in the future too.
Yep.
So what we're going with lamb right now, but it could get exotic where we have to do like kangaroo meat or something in the future. Hopefully not, because that's going to be really hard to source and very expensive.
And that's why we went with lamb. We looked at all of the protein sources that we could choose from, and the one that kind of had like the widest variety, that was the most accessible, was the one that we went with. So we could find food that was lamb only. We could find actual lamb like in chunks at Costco for training, things like that. Can he eat fish? There are some like derivatives of fish, like oils in his food, but we've not tried to go exclusively fish. We also, something else that we have to consider is Awa, because obviously she has to be on the same diet as him. Not a fish girly. So, so yeah, something that we have to remember. Could he eat turkey? Unlikely. I'd be shocked if he was not.
The only way to find out is
sensitive
like
to turkey.
slowly, like we have him on a stable diet now, and you slowly add in different protein sources to see what causes him to have the runs.
Yeah. It is often an indicator that they have caught something though. Now.
Yeah, it is.
Now we're like, oh, his poop's a little soft. You know,
We're not trying, like
take a look.
we found a good protein source that's easy to source, and we're not trying to like mess with his diet too much, because we're like, it works. Why put him through the runs if we're just trying to find his bison option? Potentially, that'd probably be, it's getting easier to find bison meat and stuff like that. It is expensive. I think it's probably more expensive than lamb.
Yeah.
Depending on we're not doing like lamb chops, chat. So
Yeah. No, it's like lamb.
chunks or whatever.
Yeah, lamb leg.
Yeah. Deer, we could do deer in the future. Yeah, we don't
But
know.
also, like, it's hard to find a kibble with venison. Only venison.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part, is that beef and chicken are in almost every dog kibble.
Right.
Almost all of them.
No, it's not cooked.
Yeah, not cooked. And because
Goat?
even
Yes.
the dog kibble that we give them is grain-free, we actually add rice to their kibble as well, because in larger dog breeds, that can lead to...
Oh, sorry. You're talking about like the taurine deficiencies and stuff like that can cause congestive heart failure or other heart diseases. Make sure your dog food has taurine in it. That is like a minimum for a dog food. So almost all basic kibbles have that. But if you're making your own dog's food, make sure you're supplementing it with that. What else? There's like some.
I'm nodding to like comments that people are sending, not at you.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, you can look up the taurine amounts and whatnot.
Taurine is important for cats as well. Yes.
Taurine is a must for felines and cats and dogs. Yep.
Yeah. But
So-
yeah, all of you guys that have pets that have allergies, you're like, yeah, chickens and everything. For cats, seafoods and everything. For dogs, beef is in almost everything. Even the venison, we just got some venison to try for Cassie, has beef. Like the ground venison has a little bit of beef in it. So yeah, it's just, he eats lamb. He eats lamb for now, and his poops look great, and his behavior is great, and we're happy.
My fat ass cat will eat anything.
We do grain-free kibble because it's the kibble we found with only lamb, and it just happened to be grain-free, which is why we have to add the rice to it. We wouldn't have chosen a grain-free kibble if there was one readily available.
People are like, is taurine in
It's a
Red Bull? I think so. Continue on though, Kayla. Yeah, taurine. Here, you can have Red Bull.
What kibble do we use? Taste of the Wild. Sierra Mountain Mix blend.
By the way, grain's not inherently bad for your animals. Like if corn is like the high, this is like a quick side off from like what I've learned from vetting diets. Corn is like a filler. So if it's at like the top like 3 ingredients, maybe not that great, but they do need grain in their food. And I tend to avoid, I'm not a vet, talk to your vet, consult your vet for this. I tend to avoid legumes. They aren't just in legumes like peas, lentil, like stuff like that. But
Signature was the other brand that we had.
Oh.
It was down to those two.
What about cats? It's, legumes for dogs. For cats, it's, not as important. But legumes have been seen, there's not a direct correlation yet, but it's causative, meaning like more likely than not there's something going on, but we can't identify the function of it, is it can cause the legumes in the food can cause the intestines to inflame and not pick up taurine appropriately, and then they can get congestive heart failure from that. So talk to your dog or talk to your vet about what would be best. And some grain-free foods are good, some aren't always. So they've gotten better than like 5 years ago, 8 years ago when it was like the huge fad. And then a bunch of dogs were dying because people are like, we're just gonna go like full grain-free, full this, full that.
Did you say talk to your dog?
I did actually say talk to your dog.
He said talk to your doc.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Anyway, that's it on the animal care side of things. Again, not a vet. I cannot give veterinary advice. Go talk to your veterinarian. But that's what I have learned personally.
Cool. That was great. Our special boy. This one is more Connor than it is. Well, we're going to talk more about seizures later, but we did want to mention that Finn is kind of our most special case here at Alveus because he does suffer from seizures and very severe allergies. Kayla and Awa also both suffer from allergies. They are both medicated for their allergies, as is Finn. Finn's allergies are by far the most severe, though. And when we brought Finn in, you guys know Finn's history, that he's very likely bred for his color and for essentially to look more like a dog. He was a confiscated pet from the state of California. And we know that that likely comes with a variety of issues. Genetic issues.
Genetics.
Poor Finn. When animals are bred for color, it's not uncommon for them to have issues like that. You see that with animals that are bred to be like white as well. With all of them. But
I would love Lucas to give a presentation on like the crazy stuff that happens with genetics in reptiles. With the snakes, with like, they're just like...
Oh, Patchy's one.
Patchy's one with missing an eye, but there's like the head turning thing. I can't remember what it's called.
Oh, yeah. The wobble.
Yeah. The wobble, that's really bad.
Yeah.
So, Maya talks about that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, she does. So, I would love like an in-depth look at that.
That's why his face is more dog-like. Because he was probably bred specifically to look more like a dog, which if you're going to do that, get a dog. So unfortunately, Finn suffers from seizures very likely due to his genetics. And when we started noticing his seizures, one of the first things we did was go through his diet and his allergies went through. And that's why we don't feed him mice, because we did notice like sometimes when we fed him mice that, he would have a seizure close to it. You've seen his eyes get goopy. They've swollen in the past. They're much better now, now that he's on Zyrtec regularly. He's on a higher dose of Zyrtec than I am. And he has a lot more space, so we think a lot of that dust doesn't get kicked up as much. Is he much less likely to have seizures now that he's medicated? He is also medicated for his seizures, thanks to, again, one of the shout outs here is to the cams, because without the cams, we wouldn't know that Finn suffers from seizures.
Right.
We've never seen him seize in person. We have seen the after effects, because we know he has seizures. Yeah. Now when we see kind of him in post-seizure, we can be like, we think he may have had one, because there are, which Connor's going to talk about a little bit later, there are very obvious signs. But without the cams, we certainly wouldn't have evidence of the number of seizures that he has, which led us to making the decision to put him on gabapentin, not necessarily a seizure-specific medication, but something that raises the threshold so that he hopefully has fewer seizures, so that we can put off putting him on specific seizure medication for as long as possible, because that can dramatically change his quality of life.
They definitely can. Real quick, Super Ruka, thank you so much for the tier 1. Freja Freya with tier 1 Ryani with the prime, Tyone with the prime, and then Skull Duggery Bob with the 5! Thank you. Okay, yeah, sorry.
Somebody said like a phenobarbital.
Phenobarbital, yep.
So
I guess on the next slide, I'll jump into my section for it.
how you can help if you want, and what you can look for, also handy for your own
Wait, do you
animal
have
companions.
is it, oh, cool, okay. And then Space, where's this? Is it
Yeah.
after this is going to be the seizure video?
I put in the slide.
No, you and Space kill it, thank you. All right, chat.
Thank you to who sent me the videos.
Shrez. Shrez, thank you.
Oh,
Okay.
I didn't. Oh,
Is it someone else? Someone else sent it? There's some, okay, anyway.
there's videos.
There's videos. So, Sevich, thanks so much for the tier 1. I'm going to go and tell you, I am not a veterinarian, and I am simplifying this for the general community here. There are a lot more nuances to this, and there is way more in-depth that you can go into this, but we're going to keep it simple. Again, not a veterinarian, but this is kind of what I have learned as a veterinary technician for 5 years, and what we've seen here, and what I've talked to our vet about too. So I feel very confident in talking this. So there are lots of different types of seizures, but we're going to specifically kind of talk about like a grand mal seizure, not grandma. I used to think it was a grandma seizure when I was 19 years old.
That's crazy.
Grand mal seizure.
Okay.
I thought it was a grandma because they would. Anyway, so we have 3 phases that we're going to talk about: pre-ictal, ictal, and post-ictal. Fancy words of saying pre-seizure, seizure, post-seizure. So we can kind of go through. I'm just going to generally talk about how it works. So you have this the seizure is the brain resetting. Ooh, here we go. A seizure is a brain resetting, like you are power cycling a computer. Is how I was explained. 10 gifted. Whoa, Sevich with the 10. We're gonna have to cut these out for the YouTube video.
I say there's gonna have to be like a warning that sometimes Connor just spontaneously screams.
Hi, Maya. So a seizure is how the body deals with overactive brains, and it's a reset. So pre-ictal is the brain just getting wired up, and there's all these signals coming in, and the brain can't suppress it. And then ictal hits, and then overloads, and then post-ictal is just they're kind of lethargic. Their brain is kind of coming back online. And pre-ictal, sometimes you can't really see it. Sometimes it is just a dog licking their lips weird, or like their eye twitching, or just like something weird is happening. And sometimes there's no cause for it. Sometimes there can be a cause. There can be, epilepsy is, the lights flashing can cause things. A random stimulus. I think for Finn, some of it's like maybe like an ant bite too, or something like that could cause that, cause him to go into the ictal phase. So same as humans, yeah, pretty much. So you guys can look at this chart a little bit more if you want, but the pre-ictal can be pretty fast and sudden. Ictal, so the seizure phase, can last, 10 seconds. It can last 2 minutes. There is a threshold that I don't remember that if it's lasting longer than like 2 or 3 minutes, take him to the vet fast. But consult your veterinarian with that. You can look it up online and see exactly what kind of the threshold is. And then post-ictal can last sometimes 30 minutes, and then sometimes 3-5 hours. Does he feel pain while seizing? Probably they feel pain, sure, but he's not going to remember it because there's just so many signals coming in. So and then the general rule that I have learned, but it's different for every vet, is if he's having a seizure for once a month for more than 3 months, then he needs to be on medications. Is generally how it goes, because you're not with your dog 24/7. So if he's having that amount, he's probably having more often. But like Kayla said with the cams, we know almost exactly how many seizures he's having, so we can calculate that. So have a little bit better of a calculation, because there's lots of different seizure medications they can go on, barbiturates, So phenobarbital is the most common that I know. There are a lot more now than when I was doing veterinary work 10 years ago. So, all that can be really heavy on the liver and kidneys over the long run. And it's a sedation. So what it's basically doing is saying, all right, here, when we talk about seizure thresholds, you're like, all right, here is, normal brain activity happening here underneath this bar. And then when it comes up to over here, over this bar, that's when a seizure triggers because there's too much brain activity. You can't keep up. It's got to reset. But to simplify it, what a barbiturate does is it raises the threshold. It's like, all right, let's, sedate the brain a little bit more. So now, instead of it being here, it's here before a seizure happens. So that's kind of like an oversimplification of it, if you were to think about it. So the gabapentin is a light sedative, a very light sedative that's very specifically targeted to neurons and like nerve pain and stuff like that. So
it's also pretty safe.
It is extremely safe, and in the long run, granted, it's still new for drugs, so we're not sure the super long-term effects of it. But as far as we know right now, it is very safe long-term. Liver, kidneys, he's looking good. We're keeping an eye on that with actually twice a year blood work for him.
He does twice a year blood work, yeah.
Because he's got other weird things going on for sure. So, but if seizures, if there are more, I'll say this for your own pets as well. If 2 seizures happen in a day, take them to the vet. Because they could go into just a full comatose if they're on that second seizure and have few throughout the day and eventually die from that. Oh, Bonobo, thank you much for the sub.
Somebody asked, is it moving the bar or is it decreasing normal activity? Which I think is
technically both.
A good question. But also, the purpose of medication obviously is to raise the bar, but one of the side effects that we had to take into consideration was how it would decrease his normal activity levels, because again, that's what the impact on his quality of life is. So it can decrease his appetite, it can make him less motivated to train, which obviously we still want things to be very voluntary for Finn if we can. So all of these factors weigh into our decision on how we decided to medicate Finn. And really we're trying, I think, to do as little as possible for as long as possible.
Yeah, and what type of seizures does Finn have? Grand mal is the technical,
I do have.
We'll go into.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. I want to do a trigger warning before we show an animal with a seizure.
I want to say 1 or 2 more things potentially.
Because it's it's traumatizing.
There is a lot. Seizures are, from a scientific perspective, incredibly interesting in my opinion. There are so many other types of seizures. You can have some that are just like a dog chomping in the air, looking in the air for 10 seconds. So there's all these little things that can be a little bit more subtle as seizures. And we cannot determine really what that is for Finn. He could we're going to go into one of his actual seizures versus sleeping. Could he be having seizures in his sleep? Maybe. We're not sure. But is it affecting his quality of life right now? No. That's the important part. So, do dogs become immune to medications over time? Yes. That from 10 years ago, though, I don't know about the new medications. 10 years ago, there are phenobarbital levels that you measure in the blood when you are figuring out where the right dosage is, because you want to use the least amount of medication if your vet is a good vet, which most are. You want to use the least amount of medication possible to treat this, which is what Kayla's talking about here. Was he seizing when he was moving his legs around last night? We're about to get into that.
Does the medication that Finn takes reduce the amount of seizures or the severity of them? Hopefully.
It would if he was going to have a seizure. There's these things called breakthrough seizures, which are scary. Since he's not technically on a anti-seizure medication, I wouldn't classify if he did have a seizure on the gabapentin a breakthrough. But it would be the same violent seizure if it does happen. If they're on barbiturates and there's a breakthrough seizure, it can sometimes be super severe. It could be way worse, or it could just be the exact same. But it does not lessen the effects. The medication doesn't lessen the effects of the seizures.
Also, for those of you who haven't seen Finn have a seizure, like we've said, we are going to show some clips of it, so you can see how different it is from seeing his twitchy legs when he's sleeping. as it is very, very different.
First one is dreaming.
First one is dreaming?
First one's dreaming. Sweet.
Okay, so no trigger warning for this one. It's just a dreaming fin for you.
MTG Mr. 1, thank you so much for the prime.
Okay, are we ready?
Yes.
All right. Dreaming fin. I don't know. Do I need to do something?
I don't know.
Okay.
Do I need to click it, space?
I don't know how to do this part.
This was just the other day.
Yeah, he sleeps here a
Just,
lot.
last night.
I want you to know that I really wish I could give Finn a cushion for this, but he would eat it. So
No, it's not playing.
when I moved it the first time, oh, there we go. He's just a
So
little
he's
twitchy.
dreaming. It is kind of, he woke himself up. It is kind of scary to see. This is, because he woke up the way that he did, he seemed like he was aware. That seemed just like a really good dream. Like he just running in his dream. It really is. Could he be having a seizure? Potentially. It's not affecting his quality of life though. So we're not going to do anything to treat it because we would shorten his lifespan potentially.
All right, the next clip is Caesar Finn.
Yep, this is a...
All right, so trigger warning for anybody who does not want to see him have a seizure. Take a little break. Go get some water.
It's not great.
Hydrate. Come back in a few minutes. I'm going to go.
One more time.
Click it one more time. Okay.
The, like, arrow?
Yep. Ooh.
That was fancy.
So he's not waking up out of this. Is it? This is actually one of the lighter ones.
I was going to say that really wasn't that bad.
That was a lighter one. Is there another one?
There's, I think,
Two more? Okay.
Okay. This one is tough to watch.
This is a rough one, yeah.
And you see he's down here. And you can see Reed is with him. Oh.
And then we swapped off, yeah. So we don't like show people that. But until now, with the proper context. All right, next one. This is like one of the first ones, wasn't it? So it looks like he got bit by like a bug on his face or something. And he's like unaware of his surroundings.
And this is really what makes seizures scary for us. I mean, they're always scary, but you know, knowing that he's up on this platform and that he's not aware of his surroundings, we worry about him falling.
Yeah, that was rough. That's a full-on grand mal seizure. His preictal phase is like non-existent. Like it is so on. It's just so sudden. It's crazy. You're tearing
I'm
up.
gonna cry.
So yeah, no, that is hard to watch. So and then he was safe after this, and we went and looked at him. This is one of the first ones we were like, what's going on?
Yeah. And
we were like, oh, seizure. So contacted our vet right away, and we worked on it from there. But this lasted for probably 30 to 45 seconds, I think. And then his post-ictal was, he had no meds for his first one. Post-ictal was him just kind of walking around, not really knowing where he was. So, yeah. Reed was also freaked out. Okay, next one.
Reed's always, I think, a little bit more skittish after Finn has a seizure.
Yeah.
Like he's always just a little bit more anxious.
Next side is what?
Float. Okay.
Okay.
Do you want to say anything else about seizures before we move on to some other like kind of common things that can happen, which is also going to be a little triggering because timber.
Oh, yeah. No, it's not great. I can't chat before I move on. Do you have any other questions about seizures? What's the best thing for you guys to do as animal care staff when this happens? You have to wait for it to happen. If it goes over a certain time, then we rush them to the vet. And we've got lots of really good vets around us that can help because you need to sedate them.
We could not like stop this once it starts, and us putting our hands in there would not.
He would bite us.
Yeah. Because he's not aware of what he's doing. So
Sorry, go ahead.
one of the things when we were doing the Fox revamp was we made sure that any of those platforms we made, they're all a pretty good size. And when they're up high, they do have those railings. Things that make us a little bit nervous.
Let's see, what other questions? When was his last one? That's a good question. It's been a while.
It's been a little while.
Probably that first clip was like his latest one,
I think so.
which was like 3 months.
Because it was outside and
Yeah.
the one where he was outside.
We have
Like
we
the
have a
red
chart. It's in his
Yeah.
notes.
Yeah.
So you can't really protect them from hurting themselves. There's some, like if you have got protective gloves on, like in the animal care or at the clinic, we would have like really good weld gloves, and then we could help hold and manage so they wouldn't hit their head and stuff like this. But with these animals, like even though Finn's vaccinated for rabies, if he were to bite us, there are potential rabies laws that come into effect that would have him go to quarantine for quite a while, and some other things that we don't want to deal with, and people would have to get rabies vaccinations and stuff like that legally. So animals are at risk of biting their tongue, but as they're not going to like bite it off or anything. A little bit of bleeding, but it would stop. So how can we alert for seizures? We'll get into that. Do seizures hurt? They're not really aware of it. Probably hurts at the time, but they don't remember it. Can it be fatal? Seizures can be fatal, yes. My cat gets them and has pulled his claws out before. If I can safely, should try to keep him still. If you have protective gear on, you can try to protect. I have done that. But like, don't get yourself ripped up for it. Is it like he passes out? In a way, yes.
Are there
Well-
early signs of seizures before they happen?
There can be triggers, so you want to pay really close attention what happened before a seizure. And most vets are like, just write down what you saw beforehand,
Yeah.
what happened like
And if
30
there's
minutes
anything
prior.
like abnormal, like somebody in here mentioned that like before their dog seizes, they notice they lick their lips a
Yep.
lot. You know, there might be a behavior for your individual animal that that you might be able to say like that's a cue to me
Right.
that something is getting ready to happen.
Like we're like, a common thing was like he was fed mice like the day before or something like that.
Yeah.
And so we're like, okay, like that was the common thread. Let's just pull mice out of it.
Just in case.
Yeah.
Is it possible that it has nothing to do with mice? Yes. But was it easy for us to be like, we just wanted you to give him mice? Also, yes.
I'm sorry, your doggo Bucky passed away from seizures. It sucks.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Does his head always freeze up during seizures? No, it can be. There's been a little bit different
Yeah.
every time.
How would we catch him to take him to the vet? If he was seizing, we would, if we had to take him, I mean, he's not.
I would scoop him
Yeah,
up.
we would just pick him up.
With welder's gloves.
Yeah.
And then put him in.
We'd have the kennel,
and
we'd bring the
stretch.
kennel to him
Yep.
and just right into the kennel.
But like he is not aware of us, so he's not gonna be really running away from us.
Yeah, he's
so
not going
it's-
to be running away, which
easy
is
scoop.
nice.
Can he lose his memory from bad seizure? I mean, I guess in theory, yeah, but I have not seen it. It's usual temporary called memory loss. Temporary memory loss for sure, yes. Can you quantify how much medication has helped? It's so sporadic. In
We
general.
can say he's having fewer seizures.
Yes. Yep.
I think that's as much as we can quantify it.
What would happen if he does fall from having a seizure? He could get
He could get hurt.
he could get hurt.
Absolutely.
Does it cause brain damage even if something severe doesn't happen? I'm not a seizure expert, so I wouldn't know for sure. I'm just not great for the brain, for sure. Let me catch up. I'm gonna just, oh my God. Okay, we're gonna be here forever. Fine. Can seizures be cured altogether with medications? Not technically, no, but you can get animals on seizure medication and they'll never have a seizure for the rest of their life, or they'll have breakthroughs. It's just all individual. So, will age affect how often they happen? Unknown. We don't know. A lot of answers when you talk to a veterinarian about seizures is like, we don't know. Everything's different. It's just like a trial and error for sure. First time bad seizure happens when he was in the treehouse and did fall from partway off the ramp. Yeah, he kind of like jumped off. Like he caught himself. He didn't hurt himself. They're still like somewhat aware, thankfully. Not curable, but it is treatable. Yes.
Are they less severe now? The ones we've certainly seen worse, but
That first one was super, like not like since they've had the outdoor space, it has not been that severe.
is it an age thing? No.
Yeah, no. This yes, this video will be on YouTube. How many has the cameras caught? All the ones that we've seen, he's caught. There might have been like one that might have missed that he's hiding in.
I would
some
say
place.
that we know of, it's probably over 10 at this point.
From yeah, because you have a sticky note.
I do have a sticky note.
Yeah, there's probably like
where I have all
10
of
total
them.
over like 4 years.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. So no trouble giving him medications, right?
No. Finn takes meds great.
Are his seizures part of a bigger illness? No, probably just bad genetics from the pet trade, the breeding, how he was bred. So, okay. Any plans for another cam to eliminate blind spots? I think the cam gets most things, but yeah, we'll definitely do that. So anyway, we're gonna move on from seizures. I can answer more questions at the end about that if you guys have them. Do we use the ask form space? Is that available?
They do ask.
Is the exclamation point ask?
Hashtag ask.
Hashtag ask, and then we can come back to that. So, trigger warning for timber.
There's
Kayla's gonna
there's
cry.
no timber on it though. It's
Oh.
just about bloat.
Oh, just about bloat. Cool.
But timber is obviously the example and what inspired this slide.
Bloat.
Oh, this is you. All the vet stuff is mostly
Okay.
you, sorry.
So, long story short, the bloat in dogs, it happens in a lot of large-chested dogs. You're talking like German Shepherds, big Labs, Great Danes, like large animals. And generally, a good vet will recommend when you're doing a spay or neuter to tack the stomach to the side to reduce, if not almost eliminate, the chances of bloat. It's not always, it's like takes it down to a really small percentage chance when you do tack the stomach lining or stomach to the muscle wall. So long story short, what bloat is just the gas builds up in the stomach from eating, and then the stomach flips on itself and traps the gas, and the stomach and like the intestinal tract loses blood supply and dies slowly but in a fast way, if that makes sense. Like it's slowly dying over the period of like a few hours. A lot of animals hide that shit too. And that's what Timber did. He hid that from us for a long time, and a lot of signs are symptoms. Anxious and restlessness, distended abdomen, unsuccessful attempts to belch or vomit, phase 2 excessive salivation, rapid heart beat, phase 3 weakness, shortness of breath, pale gums. Timber was like, between phase 1 and 2 when we got him. And when we're talking to the vet, oh, perfect. These are the breeds that are at risk. The Great Danes, all those.
Most at risk.
Yeah, most at risk. But most big dogs can have them. So when we're talking to our vet, they were like, bloat can really just happen if you look at them wrong. They jump on the couch wrong. They eat too fast. So the biggest thing that we I used to tell clients, and what we do now is slow feed. You want to slow feed your bigger dogs. Put them in like little puzzle feeders, or like they have like little holes popping up to like make them like work themselves and go slower, and also raise up the feeder off the ground a little bit as well. And yeah, just pay attention to it and get them to the vet as soon as possible. What made us finally make the call, like a vomit or two from a dog, like not the end of the world. 3 vomits, okay, weird. But the biggest thing from Timber was he had that distended abdomen. We finally see it on the camera, so like, bam, we need to get him to the vet. At the vet, they perform a surgery to come in there, and they have to remove any of the dead tissues that is necrotic, and then try to repair and heal up the like the intestinal linings in the stomach. But if there's too much dead intestines or stomach, they can't really be helped. And the survival rate is, as you can see, fatality is 10 to 30% of cases. If you get them in fast enough, survival rate is decent. But if we didn't have cameras, I mean, this is a terrible thing to say, but like Timber would have died a terrible death. So at least the cameras we were able to give him a chance to get over this. And he was too old for us to have surgery and tack the stomach, because he probably would have died there's a good chance of complications for surgery there for that. So.
It's pretty invasive too, and one of the things that does make that harder where these guys are concerned is like the reason we do the work we do with the wolf dogs so that we can be close to them is so if we ever had to monitor something like that, we could. But like having something invasive done like that and not having access to that animal, like the stress of potentially having to get them back down after having the surgery would be a lot.
Yeah.
Because we did talk about it with Kayla.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, we try not to run with them after they eat. You know.
They get fed throughout the day. You
Yeah.
guys know, smaller meals throughout the day, and they do have a lot of water. But
yeah. So anyway, that's kind of like the I would say for your own pets, you know, keep an eye on this, especially if you have like a German Shepherd or something like that, a larger animal. You know, keep an eye out for it, and you can feel and palpate, and if it's like a lot of gas in there, you know.
Has Kayla ever shown bloat since being at Alveus? No.
No. There's a few good questions. I'll answer a few questions on bloat, and I can get back to them later. Someone's asked like something about like breeding bloat out. Bloat's probably getting worse. That is my educated guess. I'm not 100% sure on that, because people want bigger dogs, like bigger Great Danes and whatnot. So, but the treatment, the surgeries ahead of time, like the tacking, is getting a lot better. They're using endoscopes now to do it, and more people are getting educated by it. So hopefully the numbers are going down, but bigger dogs are getting bigger. How long does it take to go from first symptoms to necrotic? Sounds fast.
It is fast.
I would say like full necrosis of like a lot of the intestines, like, you know, within like an hour. It can be even within an hour. So I've done
I mean, think about what happens when any part of your like if your brain is deprived of blood for a significant period of time, like that. It happens fast.
I mean, I've had. I don't know if this makes things a little bit better, but I helped dissect like 40% of the small and large intestines from a medium-sized dog for an exploratory laparotomy, which is like where you go and explore because they had like a foreign body stuck in there. The dog freaking recovered and lived to be like 15 or something like that. Like it did just fine. So I mean, every animal is different. It depends on where it happens. So yeah. Let's see a few more questions.
The benefit, though, of all of you humans in here that have dogs, you're probably a lot more able to move your dog quite readily. Somebody asked about whether or not we go into the wolf dog enclosure. So it's one of the things that when it comes to training, it's really important that these guys are comfortable with us. That they are comfortable with crates, which is something that we have much work to do. It's very difficult to get them into crates. But if we don't have a crate trained animal, we have to have a plan to flush them into a crate in a minimal amount of time to get them to a veterinarian as fast as we can.
Yep.
So there's a lot of planning that goes into, like we said, this is all stuff that happens, you know, when we know that an animal is coming in. Things that we have to think about.
Yeah, golden retrievers on this list for high likelihood. But here, I'll talk about the fun things real quick. VNS, thank you so much for the Prime. Oh, so Libra, thanks for the Prime. Taggable? Say that right? Taggable? With the Prime. Palmer with the Prime. Norley with the Prime. McVallum with the Prime. Thank you guys so much. Can cats get bloat? I've never heard of a cat getting bloat. It's not impossible, but I just don't think it's like super likely. Rottweilers, they're not on this list, but yeah, I mean it's like any dog over like 50 pounds or something like that. You can look it up. There's like a measurement of poundage to show that. So bloat can also happen in wolves. Yeah, they definitely can in the wild. Probably less likely. Timber had a lot going against him genetically because of his hybrid nature. And
Timber was only 40% wolf.
Yeah. So I think for the most part, like wild wolves, they could get bloat, but I think that's just kind of like if they're breeding to be too big, they're probably going to die before they pass on their genetics of
We also it's probably an impossible statistic to really have on wild wolves.
I think
because nobody can follow wolves for
evolution probably has like just
also the way that even though they eat very fast, I don't know if it has to do with like if they spend a lot of time sitting after, or if they're
more muscular too.
They're more there's so many things that make them different from dogs or wolf dogs in human care. I think it's a tough question to answer.
Hydra with the 5!
Akila did not get his stomach tacked during his neuter because it was early on and we didn't know him as well at that point. And I think it was a little bit too invasive for us to feel comfortable with. Also, he was kind of...
Akila.
Yeah. He also just overall, we didn't really know physical-wise like how healthy he was either.
Yeah, so like when
there were a lot of things.
We asked about it, but they would have to, the non-technical term is fully unzip him.
Yeah.
To get in there. Our vet did not have the arthroscopic way to be able to do it. And when we talked to vets that do arthroscopic procedures, they wouldn't see him because he was like way too big, and the wolf part was a little weird. Also, it was we didn't know how well you do under anesthesia.
Yeah, there was a lot going on with Akila that we were unsure about. Because he was also at this time. I mean, you guys remember he was still very underweight. He was still hadn't figured out his diet. There were so many other factors going on that we just were not confident. Also, putting him through something as crazy as that.
Yeah.
So, but again,
and recovery would have been tough too.
Talking about the vets and the availability of vets seeing these animals makes everything more challenging.
Lucky Buddy, thank you for the tier 1. Thank you guys for all the bits. How do you guys feel about agricultural housing teach students of different animal industries? If they do it well, then sure. Like if the animals are well taken care of, for sure. Okay, anything else on bloat?
If the animals are well taken care of.
Yeah.
I don't have anything else on bloat.
I think we're learning more like bloat in large animals like colic, I think, right? And horses and stuff. I'm not as familiar with that stuff, but that's also a big concern. Bree, thanks so much for the prime. So, yeah. All right. Potential canine emergencies. Anaphylaxis, anaphylactic shock, so allergies. Poisonings, heat stroke, diarrhea, vomiting. All right, so we're kind of starting to teach you guys what to look for. This is kind of what we're getting into here, because some people might want to, our mods are amazing. They're really good about looking out for our animals, and then they will clip it and send it to us in Discord. We have a specific Discord channel that is monitored by staff to report these issues. And most of the time it's like, okay, good to know. Like we saw Akila threw up here, cool. We'll keep an eye on them. Can't do much. Or it could be like a potential actual emergency. So we're going to start teaching you guys what to kind of look for, and for your own animals as well. Strange Cheyenne for the 38 months is crazy. Matt, thank you so much for their prime. So what we're looking for here, anaphylactic shock, really is like the swelling of the muzzle, swelling of the eyes, throat, stuff like that. That you would see, like similar on people that go into allergic reactions. Poisonings, you're looking at like excessive vomiting and diarrhea, like uncontrollable. Heat stroke, you're looking at them like really lethargic, really like head down, panting a ton, and just like not seeming to be able to get cool. And like I don't know how to like describe it other than that. Like from a camera perspective, there's a lot of other things that we're looking for on the ground and in person, but I'm going specifically over what we're talking about on cameras. Excessive drooling with poisonings too. Yes, yeah. Anything excessive.
I have that literally on a later slide. I'm like literally excessive anything.
Yeah. The Discord is private, a private Discord, because we don't want to be inundated with 20 different notifications of the same clips. The mods are able to kind of censor that and make sure it gets taken care of. It's very much like when you're in first aid or CPR training, and they're like, someone go call 911. If you ask a crowd of people, someone to do it, nobody's going to do it. But if you say, you go call 911, that's kind of what the mods are. They're the ones that are like, you call 911, you call to help. Like, mods have that job, and they've just done a really good job of it. So, also, when we're talking about this, you guys watch these animals so much. And we're going to talk about Siren in a minute, but like, you guys saw Siren was sleepy. And again, we'll talk about that in a minute. But if anything's out of the normal, consistently, that's a thing
That's
to
a
let
red
us know.
flag.
Yeah. So, like a vomit or two from a Kayla because he's been eating some grass, like, you know, that's somewhat normal. But like consistent vomiting is a problem. So diarrhea, also a problem if you're seeing a lot of that.
And some of these things are obviously like symptoms of other things. So like poisoning is something that we worry about because we got a lot of plants that are toxic to these guys. And we try to pull them all as we see them. But surely some of them sneak by us, and he is a goober and eats things he shouldn't.
Yeah, there's like poison plants. So there was a time where we were in New York, and there's a bunch of poison plants shooting up that Kayla
And they
was
shoot
eating.
up so fast.
Yeah. And
It's dumb.
he was just vomiting a bunch, and people reported it, and we're like, why is he vomiting so much? Like, he's okay, but like, he's vomiting a little bit more
And
than
they
usual.
ended up hauling out like bags of this plant.
Trudy and Lucas stayed like super late to
Yeah.
just clear out all the
Yeah.
nightshade.
Yeah.
Family of nightshade. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So fun. All right, this is one that I wanted to talk about a little bit because I feel like a lot of people ask about it, and unfortunately there's not a great deal of awesome information about it. So we're going to mention it and talk a little bit about how we deal with it. So obviously you guys know Tico and Mia and Tipsy are best examples of plucking. So I read a little bit more about plucking because like I've not looked into the causes of, well, that's not really reasonable to say, but I've read a lot about like the potential causes of plucking, and one of the things that you hear a lot is that it's caused by stress and it's caused by anxiety and things like that. And some of the literature that you can read online doesn't necessarily talk about those being the causes of plucking so much as they are things that exacerbate plucking in parrots. So it's very difficult to stop a parrot from plucking in human care. It's really challenging because the behavior itself can become reinforcing. It's kind of like people who chew on their cuticles. For me, if I were to talk about this to somebody like Connor, he hates it. It like anchors me in some way. Sometimes I don't even realize I'm doing it. I've probably been doing it this entire time. If you watch the video back, so. It can be caused by stress, it can be caused by anxiety, those certainly make plucking worse, but is it the actual cause of the plucking? We don't know. One of the things that is interesting about plucking is that it doesn't seem to happen in wild parrots. So parrots in human care are very susceptible to this. Self-plucking versus each other, that's a whole other thing. One of the really interesting things that I read about plucking before I did this presentation, and I didn't look too deep into it, was that it actually, there's some speculation that it could be caused by removing parrots from their nests or having them not raised by their parents. Mites can certainly exacerbate it as well. Itchiness, allergies, anything like that. So like looking at the condition of their skin where they've plucked is really important. There's speculation that maybe taking them away so they're not raised by their parents can make it more common because they learn how to groom themselves from their parents. And there's certain endorphins that are released when their parents groom them that obviously they're not familiar with if they're pulled from their parents. They don't learn those signals. Instead, they pluck too much, and then the behavior becomes reinforcing in a way. So that's something that I've not seen. Hormones obviously can exacerbate it as well. That's why we try really hard to not encourage that behavior on our part. It's why we disengage from Mia and Tipsy when we start seeing them get a little too excited, which can be tough. As obviously, also a lot of parrots that are imprinted, that's going to be an issue because they get hormonal around their people. So tough. So like being hand-fed babies from breeders. I would have to look into it. Like I said, I read it and I was like, interesting. Don't know. Again, it's all speculation. What we know is that birds pluck, like parrots pluck, not birds. Mostly we see it in parrots. There are other animals though, like vultures have a tendency to pluck and overpreen.
Yeah.
I think you see it a lot in probably the birds that aren't, I'm going to hate that I'm going to say this, the ones that we consider more intelligent. You guys know how I feel about talking about animal intelligence. But in our animals that require more stimulation, like our parrots, like vultures, like the crows, those are animals that like you tend to see destructive behaviors more if they get bored, if they get stressed, if they get anxious, right? So what we do for these guys is we look for times of the year when it is more common. We look like we have had sheets of paper where we've written down how many feathers we've picked up. We try to look at the times of year that they're plucking the most. We try to see if we can figure out what their individual triggers are. It's why we started giving them more enrichment in the morning as well, trying to encourage them to do more foraging, giving them more things to keep them busy, because we can't teach them how to preen. Like that's out of our realm of out of our capacity as trainers. So if it does have something to do with that being removed from their parents, that's not something we can fix. Again, I don't know if that's the cause. That's just something that I read that we're all speculating about. The science is, we don't know why they do this. We just know that they do. So if you guys see the parrots plucking at any time, I have read somebody mentioned that it can be hormonal. I've noticed that Mia plucks more when she's hormonal, when she goes down to the area where she makes her nest. We try to remove anything. We've actually locked her out of her nest before to try to reduce it if it's not too hot outside, because she has a corner where like for a couple of days, consecutive days, we were coming in and finding feathers in that corner. So if you guys see them plucking, it's definitely something that we'd love to know about, because it does give us more data. It does give us more information about how we can change the way that we provide care for them.
So someone asked, well, first off, Robin, thank you for the prime and Ghost with the 5! Some people are asking, like, is it dangerous for them? So it's not inherently, it's not going to cause them to die or anything like that. But what it can do is help them struggle to thermoregulate, both in hot weather and cold weather. Especially in the cold, they could get frostbite or something on their skin. And it could lead to more detrimental things if it's not taken care of, like skin infections, places for infection to enter to their air sacs and stuff like that. There's just like a lot of...
I have somebody, we don't have personal experience with this, but we do know somebody who had a vulture who overpreened themselves so much that they reached their air sacs. Like they literally plucked themselves
to death.
Like, yeah.
That's, yeah.
One of the other things that I want to say that I forgot to say in the beginning is that if anyone has a parrot and you notice them plucking, there are medical reasons that birds pluck. So like the most important thing you can do first is to take your bird to a veterinarian and do the blood work, have them check the skin, have them look for mites, all of that, to eliminate all those as causes of the plucking. Important, because there are medical reasons. So like our vet looks at their skin every time she comes out, well, once a year when we do their physicals. These guys, their skin looks good. It's not dry, it's not irritated where they have plucked. Will we ever see these feathers come back on these guys? Hard to know. After a certain amount of time, you can damage the follicle and those feathers just will not grow back, like the crows.
Yeah.
Those feathers are just not coming back.
What's an air sac? An air sac is just birds' lungs are a little bit
Bird's
different.
respiratory system.
Yeah, they've got main lungs and they've got air sacs around too. That are
We'll talk
attached
about
to
that
lungs.
on a different day. The bird respiratory system is very, very cool.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Did I miss anything?
No?
Other visible symptoms that you guys might be able to see on the cams, limping or lameness, that's a pretty obvious one, and swelling and inflammation. So this is a little rat foot. This was Chips or Nilla. Obviously very swollen compared to the other foot. And then this is Nugget's weird foot.
We had no clue why it did that.
We still don't know. We still don't know why this foot was like this. It went down on its own eventually, after we threw everything at it.
Yeah.
Literally we were giving her Epsom salt baths for 5 minutes a day.
Yeah.
We put her on antibiotics.
Yep.
We put her on who knows what.
Calling your animals lame. Yeah.
So yeah, just some other things that you might be able to see on the camera. Caused by a variety of things. Do you look for bumblefoot in birds? Yes, not something you'd probably see on camera.
What is bumblefoot?
Bumblefoot, or pododermatitis, is basically when a bird gets a cut or something on their foot.
Pressure sore.
Pressure sores. Anything that causes it to like open up and then gets infected.
So birds are on their feet
All the time.
all the time.
They
can't-
sleep on their feet.
They can't get off them, so they can get a lot of pressure on it, and inadequate perching too can cause it can look like I don't know, like
Gnarly.
sores pushing out and like growths and tumors almost. So we look for bumblefoot in our parrots all the time.
Yep,
all of
rodents
our-
can also get bumblefoot. We
all of-
monitor the chins for it as well.
Yeah. Yeah, so we just look all the time. So like if things are getting too pink, too pressure sore, we have good ways to take care of it.
You guys know Mia's feet are very sensitive, especially in the warm weather. One of the things we talk about so often with the perching is that you can tell a little bit about like perches and the size and whether it's right or wrong based on where the bird's pads wear. So if you have a bird that's getting sores like in that kind of like central location, it means your perch is probably a little too small because they're putting all of their weight only on that main pad. But if your perch is too big and their feet have to be splayed more often, you're going to get sores out closer to the edges of their toes.
Yep.
So with the parrots, not so much texture. I mean, they're on really smooth perches, which was something like almost alarming to me coming from a raptor background. But with birds of prey, we were really careful to give them lots of different sizes and lots of different textures. And also, you can do that. You also have to pay attention to where your birds perch the most. Because if they have an area where they're like, I really like this area, and I'm still going to only sit on this perch, you have to make sure that you can switch out that perch from time to time if you notice any issues. Because like I've seen bald eagles perch on something like the size of like a frickin', just they like to be up
pencil,
high.
yeah.
So like if you put like all of the same size perch up high, and they like to be up high, they're always going to be on one size perch. And you can be like, but I've got all these other ones down here, and you're like, but it doesn't matter if they don't use them. So.
All right, next slide.
Okay. These are this is Fenn's allergy panel. In case you were wondering.
All the red is what he's allergic to.
All the red is what he's allergic to. So that's cool.
So we try to plant stuff around his enclosure that does
Poor
not
Lyndon.
have
Lyndon wasn't
allergies.
allowed to plant anything in the fox enclosure.
Yeah.
So yeah, Fenn is allergic to many, many, many things, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So the
This doesn't even
allergies.
include the food ones.
Yeah, allergies are an interesting thing. Long story short, it's not necessary that it's like more likely than not he's allergic to these. It's not necessarily that he is allergic. Allergies change often too, and we're really just starting to understand allergies a lot more in animals. So we'll probably have to do allergy testing every so often because they will change. And they could get worse or they could get better. So
Finn's were bad enough that we did have a specific medication made for him, which is why you see Shruti doing the training that she does, which is like pinching him here for an injection, because that's what that treatment will be. So.
how do you
Right.
find out what he's allergic to? You send him blood test. And this company is decently accurate. The stuff off of like Amazon and whatnot those kits don't really work too well.
He gets a tablet and a half of Zyrtec a day right
Allergy
now.
shots, yes.
Yeah, basically. He gets out, yeah. That's the goal. But yeah, some of these numbers are like incredibly high. So like Palm Queen, 417 versus like Ash American White, 11. Oh, 539 to Mulberry. Yikes, buddy. So yeah, poor guy. You talked a little bit about this earlier, body presentation. You started to get into it with the canines. This is Nugget. This is one of our other very special gals. So for chickens specifically, because that's what I chose for this slide, they're holding their tail down like this. This is weird. It's not as weird for Nugget these days, but if you see her consistently doing this, this indicates discomfort. This was after, so I noticed her like this one day, and a lot of times after this, Nugget has an implant in to stop her from developing and laying eggs. We have to get it replaced every 6 to 10 months. So sometimes when she gets a little bit close to the end of this implant working, she'll start to lay soft eggs like this. This is not great. This is a little bit risky. We don't love this. So usually we'll take her back in to get an implant. But you'll notice like she's very, very pale. She's not going to be very active. She's definitely going to be lethargic. That accompanies that body presentation. This was after her implant and she was recovering. She also had an infection in her like reproductive. She had fluid buildup, like a lot of fluid buildup there. That built up literally in between when she got the implant and like 2 days later.
Right.
We had her back at the vet. Chickens can look pale. Oh yeah, it's terrifying and I hate it.
Dude, we spent so much on these chickens.
But like one of the things that was really, so chickens also, speaking of body
Why
presentation.
don't you want her to lay eggs?
We don't want Nugget to lay eggs because she's had 2 prolapses.
Which a prolapse is where the insides become outside.
The insides become outside.
You don't want that.
You don't want that. So we just said, no more eggs for you.
Sorry, what were you saying?
I forget. What was I saying?
I don't remember. Sorry.
Oh, just talking about the chickens in general and how they get pale. Before we moved the chicken, well, before we gave them air conditioning, when they get really, really hot, and this is a good thing also to know about the chickens, is when they get really, really hot, when birds get really, really hot, they can't sweat, not like we can, not like some of our other, no, not like we can. So what birds do to cool themselves down is they will droop their wings a lot and they will pant. And the chickens used to do this. They would droop their wings, they would pant, they were doing everything they could to stay cool. And that's when I started, we used to bring them up here because I was so scared. They'd get super pale.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't
Now
with
they
this.
get AC.
Now they have AC. And they have an enclosure that's much better suited, like it stays cooler because of the plants and stuff like that. So yeah, she has an implant to stop her from
Don't
laying
Google
eggs.
prolapse. Yep.
Don't do it.
Just know it's an inside-out sock in the butt area. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't Google it. It is gross.
So yeah. All of the chickens have had bumblefoot.
Yeah. They're good now though.
They had bumblefoot because in order to cool down, they were standing in their water bowls, which is now why we have hanging water dishes.
Yeah.
So they had really, really smooth water dishes that they were sitting in all the time. And thankfully, they are all very, very good about being treated. They also did Epsom salt soaks for months. Months.
Yeah.
So anyway, the chickens are exhausting. They are special cases, all of them.
Yeah.
Is it common in chickens, or were you just unlucky? I don't think it's all that common. I don't think it's all that common.
Bumblefoot?
Bumblefoot.
I think
I
it's
think
more
we just
common.
had unfortunate circumstances.
I think it's more common because most people don't care,
don't catch it.
They
I
don't
think
catch
they're
it.
looking at their chickens' feet
because
that
they're not
often.
trained. They're not grabbing their chickens
That's
and looking at
possible.
them. So, and depending on chickens, huh?
So they probably also don't usually live long enough.
Yeah, they don't. I was about to say, yeah, they don't live long. Like they get eaten.
But it is also one of those things
Yeah.
too that's hard because like we've bred chickens to be a certain kind of way.
Yeah.
So they're also like heavy,
Yeah.
like certain parts of their body, like Oliver's
Did you
a
Google
chunk. What?
Did you Google prolapse?
Fugu.
No. Okay. Good. Okay. The few people said yes.
That's good. Don't Google it.
Could the emus get it? I've not heard of the emus getting it.
I would be way
They're-
more shocked.
They're designed to be on their feet and move the way that they are a lot better, especially in this kind of.
I'm sure if you put them on like a hard floor
Yeah,
and
like
only put them on a hard
concrete,
floor,
yeah.
they could be susceptible to it as well.
Yeah.
Or like if they got a cut, like Stompy used to get cuts on his feet, like it could get infected and cause
Yeah.
bumblefoot, but it wouldn't necessarily be because of the substrate he was on.
Yeah.
But birds can certainly get infections in their feet that can turn into bumblefoot,
Yep.
for sure.
Next slide.
Bleeding. Alright, to be careful with this one, not too much blood. This is actually chicken, so this was probably a nugget prior to an implant, where there was some blood in the feces, or yeah, wherever it came from. It came out with the feces, as it does. So like any blood, typically we don't like to see.
Yeah. This is just a reminder for anybody that's coming in, this is what we're advising people to look for on the cameras. So, and then to report it to us.
And then to report it to us, yeah. I mean, we check their poops every day. That's why we all have...
There is a private Discord channel on our internal Alveus staff Discord. Lots of pictures of poop.
I'm 100% sure I have at least 50 photos of poop on my phone right now, if you went through it.
Training you to work for free. Now you're getting it, Space Camp Sucks.
If you're gonna be here, you know.
Yeah.
It's why we're all so comfortable talking about poop. That's what it is. And then this is the tip of Noodle's tail. So Noodle's tail, before it looked like this and what you guys see now, had it basically, due to years of probably stuck shed, had like a notch. I'll say notch, where like the shed had just gotten stuck and constricted the end of her tail so many times that eventually it fell off on its own and bled. And now every time she sheds, we spray her tail with like a shed aid. Every time she goes into blue, we just spray it a little bit every day until she sheds successfully. So that's just kind of an interesting example of like, hey, that's a thing that we have to pay attention to. Again, any changes in behavior, decreased appetite is a huge one. That's often the first thing that we see very often. Anything excessive, right? Licking, sleeping, anything. Obviously, you guys saw Siren sleeping more often. If we didn't have the cams, we wouldn't have known that, because one of those things that is tough is that anytime she saw people, she seemed more like her normal self, because that was reinforcing for her. So it can be hard with your own animals even to notice, because they are going to try to hide it from you as much as they can, and that's exactly what she did. That's what makes the cams so awesome, right? Hiding and a decrease in self-care behaviors. So if they stop preening, grooming themselves, bathing, what else? Eating.
Yeah.
Anything like that.
Playing.
Yeah, exerting energy anywhere else. Those are all indicative that something could be wrong.
Yeah.
So, how to contact us if you see something concerning.
So yeah, clips work the best if you're like sharing a timestamp in the live feed. Can kind of suck, like to see, because Twitch's system isn't all that great. Jambob made a good point. Clip that behavior, put it in chat, and if you're not sure, ask chat if this is normal. Get it, crowdsource that shit. And then mods are always watching. You can @ mods if you need to. If for some reason there's always mods on. You can, I don't know, Space is always around too, so you can always @ him if there's no mods around. And then they will then take that clip and make sure it hasn't been replicated, and then send that to us. But get a clip of the issue, then you can ping a specific mod, Green Sword Tree, in chat, or use the "Could a moderator please attend the Twitch chat? I need help, and I understand I will be banned for misusing this emote," which is almost all the mods that have this set up alert on Twitch chat. You need to use that exact spelling and capitalization. Any of the emotes except should offer autocomplete for it, and please only use it for legitimate emergencies. What Matt said, I mean, that's just that. I can't say it any better. Yeah, don't abuse it. What Matt said, that's a good one. So yeah, it's just getting a clips to us, so then we can determine the nature of what's going on. And then there are mods that have our personal numbers. If it is in the middle of the night, they can call and break through on our numbers, and there's plenty of people that will answer. So we'll probably work with mods later to get like a phone tree set up, but with Kayla, myself, and Maya on site, It makes it really easy now to go address emergencies, and most staff are 10 to 30 minutes away, and we can call them in. So, yeah.
Remember that animals will mask symptoms for as long as they can. It is important to seek help when you see the animals you care for displaying abnormal behaviors. It's pretty self-explanatory.
Yep.
Thank you for all of the times you have notified staff with concerns.
It's been huge. Oh, hi, Maya.
Oh, hi.
No shot, you watched the whole thing. It was a long one. It was like a 2-hour one.
Busy.
Right, Space? 2 hours?
Yeah, 1:45.
1:45. All right, we got 15 minutes for questions then.
Oh yeah, little references. Let's put a cute animal on the screen.
Here, I'll put a
Let's go back to Finn at the beginning.
question on that.
Space, you can pull up some questions.
okay.
He's taking away he needs the mouse. Good question. When Reed is skittish after Finn seizures, is that because how violent? It's probably just like, it's so, like, a lot of commotion, a lot of action. He's like, what the hell's going on? Do I need to be worried about this? So, cool.
Here, if you want.
And so,
Hit set turn.
oh, that's cool. Are seizures similar across all mammals?
It's tough. That's a tough one to answer. All mammals is a big group.
I would say no, because an elephant seizure is gonna be a lot different than like a mouse
Or like a
seizure.
whale.
Shit, if whales are getting seizures,
What about bats?
I would say they all follow at least the
a
pre-ictal,
whole lot of
ictal,
names.
post-ictal. Baffle turd with the 10! Thank you so much. Lawyer Rose with the prime. Has bloat been slowly evolving out of existence? Do any other species experience bloat, or just canines? So a lot of large animals, horses, donkeys, cows, experience bloat. I don't know.
Also so scary.
Yeah, I don't know
So
like other exotics. I'm sure a lot of other animals can get bloat, but out in the wild, if something gets bloat, it just dies because it doesn't have vet care. So
Could be wrong, but it's also relatively common in rabbits. That actually sounds right.
bloat,
Yeah.
seizures, probably
No,
both
bloat.
actually. I think
Because
both.
they were talking about like with the donkeys today and
Glutathione
horses
with the 5.
are hindgut fermenters like rabbits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean but in the wild, it is bloat is just not as common because the animals that do carry those genetic lines are dying off before they can reproduce. So, I'm just going down the line.
A lot of domesticated ones though, so it might be our fault. I wasn't going to say that, but I'm not going to tell you I didn't think it.
Have you what?
What?
Thought what?
That a lot of the animals that experience bloat are like domesticated animals.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So
Have you guys ever considered making quick reference guides for animal triage or animal care? Not guides, because it's either myself or the veterinarian just walking everybody through it, because it's so different. You don't know what's coming through the door. So
we do, one of the things that we are working on right now is having like emergency kits at each of our building locations. So like when the bird of prey building is done, there will be one back there for and like the wolf dogs will have one in the K900. There will be one for Cossie. And like the things in there will be like, what are the most common things that could go wrong?
right.
And how would we fix those things?
Yep.
So like having those kind of in a little container
Blood
ready
stop,
to
yeah.
take to the animal if we needed to. Yeah, like for the parrots, it would be quick stop. It would be a towel. It would
Yeah.
be, yeah.
We do have emergency drugs here. We have epinephrine. We have atropine. And then we have a few other like stabilization drugs. And with working through our veterinarian, I am allowed to stabilize. I cannot be a veterinarian. I cannot provide veterinary medicine, but I can work through our veterinarian for that. So it's a weird line. I do not practice veterinary medicine without a license. That is something I'm very passionate about.
Immortalize that on the internet.
Yeah, I do not do that. So it all comes through our veterinarian,
Yeah.
which she is amazing, and we could call her up anytime, and he's there.
Anytime.
So.
Literally outside of the country right now, and was like, just text. I just might be a little late getting back to you because of the time difference.
Yeah. The World of Wonder, thank you so much for the Prime. My diet's fine with the Prime. Is it the risk of bloat less with smaller dogs? If so, yes, a lot less because they don't have as much room to flip the stomach there, is what I've been told. How do you guys sedate animals if needed? Hand injection is always the best, but we do have jab poles and we do have dart guns. And I am certified in that. Kayla is, you are certified now.
I'm certified in it. I don't like it though.
I've been certified in it.
Also,
done
it's
it
a
for a
lot
while.
different to practice on a target and then to practice on a moving target, which is why we prioritize training hand injections because
Dude.
It's less traumatic all the way around for everybody.
I had a dart.
Can I dart Connor? Yeah, he's a huge target.
There's so many cool things to talk about with darting. I'm not going to
It
go
is,
into it.
yeah.
Long story short, when I was darting Ayla and Timber originally, Ayla I was able to get in the hindquarters because that's where you want to go. But Timber would jump every so often.
Yeah,
I got him at the base of the tail.
because there's time, right, where they
Yeah.
hear the pop and they have time to respond. So it's tough.
So I hit him in the base of the tail. He was fine.
Do you
Just
have an
definitely
AED on
went
site?
over.
Yes.
We do. Hold on. There, close your. You want to cover your ears? Wait.
Other side.
I drew the 5! Kerber, thanks for gifting a sub. Yeah, you're clear. Yeah, so we can sedate. We're pretty good with that.
Blow darts are quiet, but with the size of our enclosures, they could be just out of range. They have to be in the exact right area
It's
for
CO2
a
power,
dart.
so I mean
Yeah.
they hear it. So
Yeah. But like we had to switch to the gun for the hand and like the
pistol.
pistol was
The inject
too.
pistol.
It was not quite strong enough to like. Yeah.
How did you guys get Timber in a crate? Corralled him to a smaller space, and then scooped him up.
One of the things, like I was saying before, in a situation, in a perfect world, right, those animals would always voluntarily kennel. We cannot assume that an animal that's in distress is going to act reasonably, right? So if something were to happen where that animal's like, I'm terrified, there's a good chance they're not going to kennel. So we have to have a plan to get them into a kennel. That is unfortunately not the way that we'd want to do it. We never want to pressure an animal into a kennel. But in that case where it is like, you do this or you maybe die, we're always going to do it, right? There's never a time that we're not going to act, on behalf of that animal. So, yeah, we have big panels that we use, and we kind of have a new plan, I think. We learned a lot from Timber, how to get them into the K900 faster. It's one of the reasons that it's really nice that Awa and Akila are as comfortable in the K900 as they are. Timber at that time was not.
Right.
They still hadn't really utilized the K900 as much. So we did flush him into the K900 in that instance, and then it was relatively easy to get him into the kennel. But he was still very mobile in the beginning.
He was. Does the vet treat all the animals at Alveus or different vets for different animals? As of today, we have a large animal vet that does Winnie, the donkeys, and then our other vet does all the rest of them, and she is the goat when it comes to that. How did you guys pick up your vet knowledge? As vet tech for 5 years, Kayla just being around it all, and we do continuing education courses as well that has veterinary components to it. But you have to learn. Like if you're going to be in the space, you're going to be in charge of animals. It is your responsibility to learn as much as you possibly can about how to help those animals.
It still stresses me out so much. Like I still call Connor every time. I'm like, hey, can I just run this by you real quick? Because it just makes me feel better to not be alone in that space.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but our veterinarian also receives many, many texts from me, which she's very, very gracious about. She's like, you can never ask too many questions. And I'm like, cool, I've got 25 more.
She is our retainer, so she is being compensated.
And then I sent her cute photo texts.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there research on wild parrot plucking?
I'd have to look into it.
I haven't seen it. It's not a thing out in the wild that happens all that often.
I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure it's just a captive thing.
I think most of the information that probably exists would support that.
Yeah. Can plucking affect ability to fly? Yes.
Yeah. Depends on the feathers that they pluck. Most of the feathers that are plucked are those ones that are close to their body. Like there are areas which you see on our parrots. So like around the neck is a really common area, under the wings and inside the thighs, where Miley actually plucks inside one of her thighs. I still have not confirmed whether Tico plucks Tico or Miley plucks Tico. Still working on that one, because I've never seen them pluck in person. And they usually pluck inside. Yeah. We very rarely pick up plucked feathers from outside. It's usually inside.
I am trying to get those cameras up on the inside.
So it's when we have those cameras, I think we'll definitely utilize them a lot more. I just noticed Miley's leg, yeah. So that is something that
there's like, and if the USDA just started regulating birds, and they are very aggressive on plucking, which is great. So we always, if you have to make sure you know what plucking is going on. If you have a certain amount of parrots, you're under USDA permits. But for us, we catalog all that and we report back, and we're always talking to our veterinarian, and our USDA inspector is always looking at that kind of stuff, which is awesome.
And one of the things also that we
Steve Anderson, thanks for the tea run.
Know about our plucking specifically, I think, is that like largely has not gotten.
Cover your ears, space. Steve Anderson with the 100! Thank you. You're good.
Okay. Okay.
That's crazy. Thank you so much.
All right. Well.
Say thank you.
Thank you. Hooray.
Parrot plucking, yes.
That our parents haven't gotten worse.
Yeah, our parents have that.
Which is, we'll take it.
Yep. At what point would you suggest taking the parrots to the vet for plucking, like your own personal parrots straight away? Or
I would say when you notice it.
Definitely call them and start talking to them and get some advice. Do some research. See if you can like reduce it. But I would say,
Well, one of the... Sorry, go ahead.
Like, I would say if it's a patch, like depending on your bird, it's like 2 or 3% of your bird's body area, probably go. Get them to the vet. But like 1 or 2 feathers here or there, like whatever.
I'd say when you notice it.
Lumito with the 10! Thank you.
Okay. When you notice it, because similar to like, if you think about the fact like, a human, for example, if like you're pulling out your hair, you're not going to notice if you only pull 5 or 10. But once you have to pull a lot to see it.
Yeah.
And bird feathers are going to be the same. So like once you see it, they've probably already plucked more than you think they have.
Right.
So.
Oh, it is? It's too long. Okay, when I did a day with a keeper at our local zoo, they showed us a really cool software that they use to track eating, pooping. Muffin Queen, thank you for the prime. Pooping, peeing, weather behavior, keeper interactions, veterinary information, mating information, all sorts of stuff. The software shared other zoos for breeding programs like you're doing. They can share all this information for the planning, animal moves, and introductions. I don't remember what it was called. It was called ZIMS, most likely. We use animal care software, which is a little bit more user-friendly than ZIMS. We might eventually have to move to ZIMS if we're in AZA. What?
Guys, you're not going to notice on your head. If you're pulling them out and you're looking at the hairs, you're obviously going to see them. And like if your hair's falling out in the shower, you're obviously going to see it. But like when your hair dries, it's going to look the same. Not the stuff that's in your hand, how it still looks on your head. Oh. Sorry.
Okay.
Yay, animal care software.
Is there anything else you want us? Is it dead space? I broke the bot. This is a sick ass bot, dude. The production that Space has been able to do with this.
Is there a way to tell if your pets are in pain? A lot of things that we talked about today. Any like diversion from their normal behaviors can indicate some level of discomfort or pain. So like if you see them sleeping more than usual, if you see them not being as active as usual, if you see them eating less than usual, if you see them stop participating in grooming behaviors, those can all indicate that your animal is uncomfortable in some kind of way. Those are kind of, and then there's obviously very obvious ones that are limping or complete lameness or something like that. But yeah, being more aggressive than usual. We would say like if an animal's like more defensive. So it's one of the things that we like noticed in Bones the other day. Our cat he was definitely uncomfortable, and like if any of the other cats approached him, he was giving these warning signals, and it wasn't because he was aggressive per se, but because he doesn't feel well, he feels more defensive because he doesn't feel as able to protect himself. Right? So it makes sense. Those shifts in behavior make sense.
All right. You ready to speed run this, Kayla? Or you keep it to short answers, a sentence or less. Okay? Can the allergies be treated desensibilized like humans? Yes. Are allergies from selective breeding issues in pet trade? Could be. How does the slope of the landscape affect large animals like Winnie? Makes it harder, but they can build muscle if they go up and down like that. Depends on their
She's
feet.
not built for big slopes. That is true.
How have all the parrots been with plucking? Getting better.
Yeah, I would say like the more, like the enrichment in the morning has really helped. They're all more consistent. Like Miley and Tico have been very consistently willing to train, which has been really exciting to see since we started changing that. Usually we lose them. Did I go over a sentence?
That was like 4 or 5
All right,
sentences.
well, they have not gotten worse.
Since animals tend to hide symptoms, would abnormalities be easier to notice at night? No, they're hiding it all the time because
In the wild, their survival would depend on it.
Yes, that was a much faster way to say it. Very nice. I feel like Reed and Coconut used to be a little more social in older collabs. Did something happen?
Yeah, an alarming amount of construction around their enclosure.
Are they going to have a better enclosure soon?
I can't wait.
Is there a surefire way to determine dog allergies?
Also, that sarcasm was not directed to you who asked the question. It was entirely directed towards Connor.
Yeah. There is no surefire way to know, but allergy testing is getting better. It is more information than we used to have before. It was just guessing.
I would say also, if you have suspicions, like when I was told I had food allergies, I cut all of them out for like a little while and then reintroduced them one at a time.
Yep.
So if like you have that kind of time, but also you could just go to the vet.
Yep. How's Tipsy behavior and health doing?
Tipsy's doing great. Tipsy is taking meloxicam like a champ, which is definitely helping, I think, with his consistency with his foot. But he's very, like, he moves his foot really well. We got to bring him back down to the aviary soon. Get him some more practice down there.
Does the yelling stop tomorrow? No.
The yelling goes on for at least 22 more days.
Sorry.
Probably more.
Chat did that. Has Finn seizures made you approach building new enclosures in general different to future-proof new ambassadors? No, because I don't want to limit height for some other ambassadors. It did change how we built their expansion, but for Kasi, like seizures are pretty rare, so.
And that's something we can always change if we need to.
Yeah, we can easily take down high purchase, but I'd rather give that to them because I don't want to limit their life's experience.
I don't want to like. I'm gonna put this out there. It's an alarming thing to say, but like, we could do all of the prep work in the world, and some freak accident could still happen that could result in something very not ideal.
Yep.
That happens, and
Humans,
it is
animals,
there. Yeah, no, none of us are perfect.
But we will.
But we will do everything we can to anticipate every event. And if something, there was a day I think that one of the foxes got a hold of one of the camera cleaning cloths and ate it. And we were like, that's not great, because accidents do happen. Reed got a spoon one time from me and it was plastic and he bit it. And I was like a crazy person on the ground trying to find every bit of plastic, fearing that he was going to eat it. So like there are things that happen that, and like in retrospect, you can drive yourself crazy. But
Yeah.
all we can do is
We will try
our best, which is pretty good.
Feel like so we can sleep well at night.
Yeah.
We give it our all 100% of the time and do everything we possibly can no matter what. It's kind of what we do, but shit still happens. But as long as you try everything you got, that's all you can do.
Yeah.
Mara Bandman, thanks for the Prime. Lumati? Lumito? Can you help me here? Lumito with the tier 1.
Lumito?
Lumito? There we go.
I don't know.
Is there a possibility of Noli laying an egg? Yes,
Noli has laid 15 eggs.
It's a lot.
Not fertilized eggs, because Stompy is not well versed in the art of emu courtship.
One sentence, Kayla.
They love my sentences. What, you're going to be streaming for like 22 days? You don't got time?
We're getting through this fast.
Yeah, okay.
Space is stuck with us.
Space is having the time of his life. That's
We're
not
both
true.
a bit stinky right now, and I'm sure Space isn't.
Space cannot smell us from over there.
I can smell us from right here.
Maybe he can. It's fine.
This is for you.
What? Do you clean up all the animals' poop in their areas? We do our very, very best every single day. I will confess that the fox enclosure is tough sometimes. It is a big space and the poops are small, but we do our best.
Can birds have epilepsy? I imagine if they had a seizure and fall from perch, it could be really bad. Yes, we've seen
Bird
that
seizures
before.
are scary.
Yep.
We have both worked with a bird that suffered from seizures.
That's something that elevated bowls are not very helpful for dogs. Have you heard of this before? And your thoughts? I personally use one of my dogs, but also use for slow feeders. So definitely slow feeders. Puzzle feeders are great. Logan Martin with the 10! Thank you. It depends on the dog, the species. Talk to your vet about what would be best
Sure,
for
you
them
might be able to answer that question too.
when it comes. Yeah, I think it depends on the dog.
Yeah.
Like Great Danes, you gotta raise it up. But like Golden Retriever, maybe not. The angles and shit. So every animal's different. Animals in need of rescue often get temporary shelters before coming to their final home, Alveus or other places. Is that something you also do? Yeah, definitely. Which current ambassador is the hardest to give medications to currently? Just say the name, just one name. Dog with the 5! Thank you.
If I had to guess,
Chins.
no, Snork was so good.
Chinlers.
Maybe.
Georgie.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, an animal that we would actually...
Alex Gibbs with the 10!
I have earplugs, I just don't have them with me. I was going to say probably the macaws.
Macaws, okay, fair. Who's the newest arrival right now? Kasi. Wait, I broke it again.
Broke it again.
Wait, we're back. Can tortoise be flipped actually kill them? Yes. Would having a vet on site something that you guys aim for in the future? Yes, they're very
Dream.
expensive. We do have that built into a long-term budget, though. Yeah, vets used to be so much cheaper 10 years ago when they were in oversupply.
You know what? It's a good thing they're not, though, because they do good work.
They do great work, but you could get a vet for $60,000.
That's crazy. That's why they were in debt for their entire
Yeah,
lives.
that's why you were. That's one of the reasons I didn't go to vet school, because I wouldn't make that much
I
money.
have loop earplugs.
Yeah, you'd come out with like on average back then was $140,000 worth of student debt, and you'd only make $60,000, maybe $80 if you're lucky for the first 5 years. Now it's like way more.
Again, as it should be.
Do you have an AED on site? Yes, we can answer that. Just for people, they don't really exist for animals. You use epinephrine.
I was going to say, we have epinephrine on site.
Is there any kind of repellent for horses like we have for humans? Have you ever tried them with ACE? What kind of repellents?
Unfortunately, we actually spoke
Sorry,
to
with
this with the vet today. I don't know if you were there for that part, because we think that the hives are not hives. We think they're mosquito bites.
Mosquito bites.
And unfortunately, there are not great repellents for mosquitoes for horses.
Are there any species that you would not take on? Tiger, elephant, kill me. I don't want to deal with that, but...
We don't have the infrastructure to take on anything big like
Yeah.
that, like elephants or rhinos or big guys.
No, we do keep our location secret for a lot of reasons, but yes, we've never had any issues. but we have ways to deal with that if that something were to happen.
Go ahead.
Daniel with the 5! Broken.
Our
Oh,
fly
there you go.
spray has citronella in it.
What would you do if Miley does actually pluck Tico?
Give her more to do.
Yeah. All right. We're setting a timer for 5 minutes because I got to get back to work. Okay. Stopwatch and start.
It would be a lot of rosemary.
If there's a way
For
to
the
tell you,
whole pasture.
we answered that earlier.
It's bad right now because there's a lot of water around. There's a lot of standing water.
Are any of the current ambassadors currently the perfect embodiment of species health?
Man.
Donks, I guess.
Oh yeah, the donks are pretty perfect.
Oliver, except for his butt.
He's a little chunky. Oliver's a little chunky. But it's
Stompy's
hard.
pretty damn good.
Stompy, I would imagine Noli is probably too.
All right, we can answer that. Now, that advice growing rapidly, at what point do you hire your own veterinarian? We need a little bit more work. We would slowly
Toast.
start to... Platypus! Thank you so much for the 5. We would slowly increase the amount of time that our vet would be out here until it hits about 40 hours a week, and then that's when we'd bring him on full time.
We were really hoping the purple martins would move in and take care of the biting
Yeah.
insects in the pasture.
How would one who is disabled get a job in animal care? I love animals, but it's a lot of work. We had some people that, like at Dollywood, where we had the bird of prey enclosure, they would talk about the birds, and they would even be able to hold
You have
them.
you like docents?
Yeah, they were like on like scooters and stuff. Not scooters, but yeah, scooters.
Yeah, it's really just a
Gotta see what fits.
yeah.
You can't pick up poop probably, and you can't do all that, but you can still talk about them and educate people, and be just really good at that.
Absolutely.
So, it's really cool. Would we be able to tell if Finn has other types of seizures? No, not really. Like Grandma's like the only one we can really tell. The more we get footage, we can show our vet, but that's the only one that like really affects his quality of life, and that's what we're worried about, quality of life. Are you ever concerned about isolating the ambassadors like Cassie's face, since they don't have a counterpart?
Depends on the species.
Isolation.
Okay,
yeah.
So servals typically are solitary, so not terribly worried about it where Cassie is concerned. However, any of the, well, maybe not so much the foxes, but Finn and Reed obviously came together and they get along very well together, and we could probably house more foxes in there and they would be fine, but also we're not terribly worried about them separate. But certainly the wolf dogs, certainly the marmosets, are certainly the parrots. It helps to have more than one. Any birds, any animals that are social by nature is something that we think about. That's why after Timber passed away, we were really quick to seek out a companion for Awa.
Are you hoping for baby emus? No.
No.
We will not be breeding other than critically endangered species to really sound the wild.
No baby emus.
Blue whale win. That enclosure's 90% done. You just haven't seen it. Have you thought about slightly bigger cats, maybe like cheetahs? Maybe like mountain lions or like Florida panthers if they need it. Like from
I would say we'd have to acquire more space.
But it would be way in the future.
Yeah.
Has Finn ever had an absent seizure that we know of? No, not that we know of. Any plans for a Winnie boot camp yet? Knee deep water was amazing for endurance training. Oh.
We're going to start with walks.
Yeah. We got some ideas.
Winnie doesn't like water. She doesn't like being wet.
That's fine.
It's annoying
Yeah.
because we really wanted her to enjoy water.
Why is Jalapeno's coat white? Do they just naturally come out like that sometimes? I guess sometimes. I don't know. There's genetics
I feel
of
like
donkeys.
completely white is not super common in most, but cannot confirm. We do think that Jalapeno is really sensitive on his right side, though.
Interesting. Dream animal each of you would like to have at Alveus. You currently in plans for?
What?
Dream vulture.
Vultures.
Eagle.
Any bird of prey, really.
We're working on that. Which ambassador is the healthiest that needs barely any or medications at all?
Most of them are not on any
Yeah.
medication.
Most
The
are
only
great.
ones that are on medication are Awa and Akila. They both get Apoquil once a day. And Finn gets carprofen, gabapentin, and Zyrtec every day. And Tipsy gets meloxicam. And that is it.
All right, great question for Matt to end this out. What should chat do? They see something on cams that doesn't look right. Clip it, put it in chat, ask chat, see what they think, and then alert a mod if it is questionable, and then the mods will send it over to us. So, who does Connor's lineup is so crisp today? Thank you. I
Got it
barber.
cut right before a subathon.
Yeah. All right.
You
last
should
question.
clip. We should clip it at the beginning and then clip it at the end of subathon.
I've been shaving though. Relating to environmental wildlife related studies, what are the most pressing issues or biggest gaps in knowledge and areas that feasible to tackle? I would love to see stress testing and stress levels measured in captive animals to quantify quality of life in captivity. And there a lot of drugs testing in animals is very like used for drugs in animals is not all that well tested. Like some exotic animals. Thank you so much for the raid, Ash. I hope you had a good stream. We are finishing up our very transparent animal care
Many times, that's awesome.
vet chat. So, but I think that's
Vulture, love.
it for now. We're gonna post this on YouTube. Chandler, you better make this freaking awesome. And thank you guys for coming. If you have questions, you can put them in the YouTube video below, and we can see if we can answer them. So I hope you guys like this. This hopefully is evergreen content that we can send people, and maybe we can like do some smaller clips of like how to report things, and it can be a command, which I think would be very helpful. We'll probably do these ever so often. And our vet said eventually she might want to come on and like teach you guys stuff, which would be really cool because she is kind of the best. So it would be a good job. Good job, Kayla. Thank you,
Good job,
Space.
Connor.
I'm sorry we're stinky. All right, I gotta go see why this fish tank is leaning the way that it is.
Good thing you got 22 days to figure it out.
Yeah, I gotta crawl up underneath the house. So. Could someone take them for a second? I haven't eaten like really at all today.
Well, I'm done for the day.
Shit. Is there any staff house?
I've been
Maybe
done
Linda's
since
outside.
4 o'clock.
I have not had lunch, so I need to eat.
But I mean, we can take them.
Winnie update, she is just very large.
She's just chunky.
And we need to
Exercise her.
exercise.
She needs an exercise.
Panda with the $100!
Thank you for the $100.
Thank you so much. That's huge. I'm gonna be here forever. Wait, how did the time go up? Oh, I know how the time went up, but like when I was looking at
You've
it,
screamed every single time.
we had 20 minutes. When we started the presentation, we had 20 minutes to get under 22 days. And now it's gone up.
There you go. Went up even more.
It went up even more. Love it. Love it. All right.
Also,
Bye.
too many treats. I need to confirm. They're not treats. We haven't just fed Winnie unlimited treats in the feeder. Every time I hear the word treats in the feeder, I cringe inwardly.
It's just compressed.
It's just compressed hay.
Compressed hay, yeah. So. Okay.
But she does need to eat less of it, so we are turning it.
Here, keep talking to him.
We are turning it off. So, sorry. And she doesn't even get them. Ace gets them. That's what I said.
She gets some of them.
Very few of them.
You gotta walk more, so you gotta eat less hay.
Okay.
Kayla, hang out with him for a second because I gotta swap chat phones. This one's dead.
Okay, so I'm just sitting here for a little while. I'm gonna sit down now.
Grab the other one too. This is the. Okay. This should be charged.
All right. Ace gets most of them, yeah, because he's so skinny because he's old. He's an old man. He's losing all of his muscles because he's getting older. Why vultures? Because they're incredible. Vultures are amazing, and I love an underdog. I'm not gonna lie. I will do a presentation on vultures at some point. I gotta figure out what I want to do next week. Does anybody have thoughts? I could answer some of these questions in the next stream. I like to look them up ahead of time. Are vultures considered birds of prey? That's a very fun question. Because sometimes, at one point, they were not. But I think the general consensus now is that they are. But what's interesting about vultures is that there are birds that we call old world vultures and birds that we call new world vultures. And old world vultures are native to Africa, Asia, and Europe. And those vultures are much more closely related to hawks and eagles than the New World vultures, which are native to the Americas. Or to America. All of it. So, New World vultures have much flatter feet that aren't designed for gripping than Old World vultures. And for some time, they put New World vultures in the same family as storks. And then they said, no, that's not right. Turkey vultures are New World vultures. Turkey vultures have the largest geographic range out of any vulture. They're found from southern Canada all the way to the tip of South America. Why is it called a bald eagle? Their scientific name is Leucocephalus haliaetus. I'm not pronouncing that right. And that literally translates to seabird with a white head. And in Old English, the word bald simply meant white-headed. Bam. Bald eagle. Yep. That's it. Old World just refers to Africa, Asia, Europe. New World refers to America. What got you interested in vultures? I took a job opportunity out in Nepal working with Egyptian vultures, and I fell in love with them. And I learned more about the vulture crisis in Asia, and it just became a cause that's very near and dear to my heart. And now I will talk about it every chance I get. Who gets to name the first vulture ambassador? The vulture ambassador gets to, it's a vibe. Maybe you guys will. Maybe we'll come up with a list of names like we did with Kasi. Who knows? Is there something you recently started informing yourself about? The olfactory system in birds. Did you ever do bird paragliding? I did, several times. I love caracaras. Yes, I have worked with one crested caracara, and he was one of my favorite, will forever be one of my favorite birds in the world. Also, I love seeing wild crested caracaras here in Texas. It is so cool. Maybe the first vulture ambassador comes with a good name, true. Do you think Connor needs more enrichment to resolve some of his behavioral issues? I think he's enriched enough. He might be overstimulated all the time. Have you been around a bearded vulture? I have been fortunate enough to be around a bearded vulture. They are incredible. Why did we choose the name Kasi? Kasi was put on a short list and then chat chose. Kasi means speed in Swahili. Since you guys have many kittens, are you most anxious? If you're worried about anxiety, you could talk to your vet about a low dose of gabapentin. I think it's hard if you have other people in you could do a strategic, introducing her to other people. You would just need, a consistent kind of training setup. So you'd probably have to start with just one person. And that might be that person, sitting across the room and you, interacting with your cat. And then, the next time you get them a little closer, you get her a little closer, you get her a little closer. Everything, when you have that target goal of what you would want, which your cat would be, your goal would be having that cat comfortable in a space with more than one person. You break that up into the smallest increments that you possibly can, and you start with the smallest one. But in general, gabapentin would probably start, and that might even help facilitate some of that training as well. Have you ever been around Raven? I have worked with a Raven named Poe. Could Winnie get her yoga ball back? The last couple of times that we've given it to her, she hasn't been super excited about it. So I think the best thing that we can do for Winnie now is get her walking more frequently, and maybe that will kind of encourage her to be a little bit more active again. But Winnie also historically has never done great with heat, so a lot of the stuff that we try will probably be in the morning, and then we'll see how she goes from there. I would love a pigeon ambassador. I've asked Connor and he said no. So, maybe someday. Winnie is just a little bit chunky. Interestingly enough, the reason that she's probably having a harder time in the heat is because she's a little bit chunky, because Red Angus cows are pretty tolerant, like they're pretty heat tolerant. Cat enrichment suggestions, literally anything that you would give a dog. You could do puzzle feeders, you can wrap treats in towels and place them around your house. You can use toilet paper rolls, you can hang cups from chairs, you can get, you can freeze lickable treats, you can make a ball pit. That's actually something I want to do for my cats that I haven't talked to Connor about. Yeah, anything novel. I give them lots of, playing with them, like simulating chase is fun. Yeah, I mean, any like new textures, foraging boxes, muffin tins, treat in each cup, and then a toy on top of each treat. Yeah, so many little things. I wish I had a good answer for that, Space Camp, but we use Dr. Elsie's litter because one of our cats, since we got her, has been really difficult about the litter box. And since we switched to the Dr. Elsie's clay litter, it has like a cat, it's like Cat Attract or something. She's a lot more consistent. Other than that, though, the one that I liked the most was like the Sustainably Yours litter. It's still a little bit lightweight though, so it tracks a lot. We tried the walnut-based little litter, and it just like the dust was just like brown dust everywhere, but it wasn't bad. So we tried pellets with our cats, and they said, "Get so real." Denied. Finn is good. This is just a cute picture of his face. He's good. He's doing very well. We did recently put Finn on carprofen for some stiffness in his back leg, one of his back legs. And he's now, you guys have probably seen, he's a lot more active, which is really nice. We typically don't use lasers with our cats, but if you do, the thing that's frustrating about a laser is that they can't catch it. So it can frustrate them. So you just have to make sure they're getting something for the effort. But I don't currently, I don't use a laser for our cats. Is Finn's lifespan affected by his conditions that he needs medication for? Currently, with the medications he's on, we're hoping not, but we do check his blood work twice a year for any changes in his blood work. If he needs more intense medications, they certainly could affect the length of his life, yes. There will be a link in the YouTube video where we did share clips of Finn having a seizure, so you can look at that. Just be warned that it is a little bit triggering if you're sensitive to that. Oh, I did World's Best a little bit, the corn-based. Also really lightweight though, like my cat just tracked it everywhere. We had Roombas. We still do. They run all the time. Which again, like with cat litter, I mean, it's gonna track. It's part of being a cat person. So, what enrichment will you do for animals like Toast? Toast does great with puzzle feeders. I love foraging. Sometimes Toast, when they're in that little like that little pit, we'll do like a little ball pit for Toast. We'll give them different like textured towels or blankets to walk through. Toast also gets lots of different types of foods. So even just like moving around his little tunnels in his enclosure counts as enriching. Yeah. Tofu litter, I'll have to look into that. What does a food puzzle look like for Toast? Literally the ones we use for dogs. Like the little, we use them for the crows, like with the little, like you move the leaves and the ladybugs, like Toast can do that. Does it become difficult to think of a new enrichment? Yes. It does. And sometimes it feels like we're just doing the same things over and over, and like the lack of novelty, we worry about that for a little while. Parrot enrichment sometimes takes hours. It is exhausting.
All right. I'm ready to take them.
I thought you were going to go eat.
Oh, no, I'm going to take them with me down.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm going down there too, so I'll be there so I can
I was gonna try to hand it off to people, but people are leaving.
Tipsy's doing great. Yeah, we can't give the snuffle mats to like the foxes without supervision because they would also destroy and probably eat them.
All right, tell them bye.
All right, chat. Bye.